We're out at the beautiful Banner shooting range today, taking a look at the Smith & Wesson 22X versus the Ruger Mark IV. This happens to be, we're going to call it the 2245 tactical version. So there's some similarities between the pistols, some obvious differences between the pistols. Before we get into some of those, let's go ahead and put some rounds downrange. We got a little I think it's a 7 or 8 inch target out there at 7 yards. I'm going to do a couple magazines through our Mark IV, and then we'll switch to our 22X. Here we go, left-hand target. Failure. That's not good. Good. I think my Mark IV is saying you haven't shot in too long, and it's kind of protested at the moment. Okay, so let's do a magazine. I'm going to do just 10 rounds in this first magazine through our 22X at our middle target. Mark IV 10-round magazines. We'll come back to capacity here in just a moment on this 22X. Well, we're quite a bit low of our target. Normally I'd say that's me, but I don't think that's me. Let's go to our second magazine, and here's where you'll see the big difference between the Mark IV and this 22X. Let's aim a little bit higher. Okay, we aimed up a little bit higher. Group was slightly better. I'd say that firearm for me shoots a little bit low, but double the capacity right out the gate, which is going to be a big one for a lot of people. In some ways, today's 22 comparison is like those episodes of Iron Chef where two chefs with completely different styles went head to head. Both pistols today are fun firearms chambered in 22 long rifle. They don't look very similar, but they might have more in common than you'd expect. They also obviously have their differences, kind of like Bobby Flay versus Masahiro Morimoto. When seeing the 22X and the Mark IV side by side on a store shelf, it's easy to not notice the size difference between these two pistols. Even with the lighter 2245 frame on my Mark IV, it's still more than 2 times the weight of the 22X. The natural assumption with all that extra weight is the Mark IV must have negative recoil compared to the 22X's already minimal recoil. Here's a fun question. Keep in mind on the Mark IV, the bolt reciprocates, while on the 22X, it's the slide that reciprocates. Which do you think weighs more, the bolt on the Mark IV or the slide on the 22X? Post your answer in the comments, and I'll answer in the next range break. Speaking of the range, let's head back there now. Let's do 2 more magazines from each firearm. I've put up a 3-inch sticky target over our existing target, so we only really care about what's in that 3-inch zone. What we're going to do, first magazine, 10 slow measured shots of the CCI Mini Mag 36 grain copper plated hollow point. This Mini Mag varmint. Second magazine, 5 double taps at that same zone. We'll try to count it up. I don't know how successful we'll be. But here we go, starting with our Mark IV 2245 left hand 3-inch target, 10 slow measured shots. And now 5 double taps. Okay, Smith & Wesson 22X, center target, same thing. Here we go. Hey, we had one failure in that magazine. .22X might have redeemed itself on those last 2 magazines, not counting the failure. Now that we've seen a little more of these 2 pistols in action, it's time we talk about how they shoot. As expected, the bigger, heavier Mark IV shoots like the bigger pistol. It absorbs almost all of the already minimal .22 long rifle recoil. The single action trigger is decent for a factory trigger. Few people beyond those LARPing as small ninja assassins would look at the Mark series pistols as carry firearms, and as a result, they have light single action only triggers more often associated with a target pistol than a carry one. The trigger pull is short, the break is fairly crisp, there's some tactile feedback on the reset. It's good enough for a factory trigger with plenty of room for improvement for those who like to tinker. The push button toolless takedown make the Mark IV very easy to clean and maintain, a world of difference compared to the earlier Mark series pistols. If there's one area I'd knock my Mark IV pistol, it would be the factory sights. The flat black front blade leaves much to be desired. I suspect, given the optics rail and how easy it is to replace the sights, that Ruger is banking on most consumers buying upgraded sights anyway. When it comes to the 22X, the combination of how light it is, along with the plasticky feel of the frame and matte finish on the slide, they almost make it feel like a toy. It's not a toy, let's be clear, and in my opinion, with how it feels, it's good Smith & Wesson stuck to what I'll call a traditional firearm color for this pistol so far. The trigger on the 22X has good auditory and tactile feedback. For the break and the reset, I'd call it the standard no-frills Smith & Wesson trigger. Unlike on the Mark IV, the sights on the 22X are one I'm a big fan of. I really like how easy it is to swap out the front fiber optic. It's unfortunate given how low the point of impact is in general compared to the point of aim, at least from my 22X. The crew, as well as others, have shot this one, and everyone who shoots it, they shoot it noticeably low with the iron sights, both suppressed and unsuppressed. After the first magazine today, I aimed up a good 4 inches, which helped me get more shots on target at the expense of less precise groups. I only have access to this one 22X, so I can't comment on if other 22Xs also shoot low based on the iron sights. When we eventually put a micro optic on this pistol, that issue likely goes away. It seems like most all of the other 22Xs that I've seen those people have put optics on them right from the start. So who knows? For now, it's a mystery, shall we say. When it comes to reliability, for both pistols, like many rimfire semi-auto pistols, I'd say ammo has a lot to do with reliability. We saw a failure or two today, and I'd say that fairly represents them versus the ammo we shot. Some other mentionables are, both of these pistols are optics ready and have attachment rails. Both of these pistols also happen to be suppressor ready, and for both, I have used my 22 switchback suppressor without issue. For restricted states, both pistols are available without those threaded barrels. When it comes to cleaning and maintenance, unlike the earlier editions of the Mark series pistols, the Mark IV probably has the edge here. The 22X is also easy to clean and maintain, and also requires no tools to field strip, but Ruger finally got the field stripping part extremely simplified with this 4 series pistol. Before we call it a day on today's video, let's finally get to the answer of which weighs more, the bolt on the Mark IV or the slide of the 22X. The bolt of my Mark IV weighs in at 4.9 ounces, while the slide of my 22X comes in at 4.6 ounces. Good thing we didn't bet on that at the start of today's video, because I would have lost my dollar. In Iron 22 battle, 22X versus Mark IV today, we saw two very fun 22 pistols go head to head. With identical sights, I'd have said the Mark IV is more accurate and precise, but the 22X with the vast majority of people won't be far behind. Either way, neither pistol lost today. With a wide variety of models available, it's possible to find Mark IVs at the same price point as the 22X, so price isn't an area where either has an edge in my book. Beyond holes on paper, both pistols can be excellent training platforms. The 22X for the operation and handling of more traditional carry pistols, shall we say, and the Mark IV for overall pistol handling, marksmanship. You get the idea. I'd also say both are excellent competition pistols. The Mark IV for more of what I'd call those Olympic-style target contests, and the 22X more for what I'd call the zombie shoot-style competitions. For example, years ago when I was doing the zombie shoot scene, if the 22X had been a thing, it would have been the most popular pistol in the 22 class by a wide margin. Everything else had single stack capacity, with pistols like the Mark III series Ruger pistols dominating the scene at the time. At most of the shoes I went to, the stages were 20 shots or less. You pretty much had zero chance of winning if you had to reload and other shooters didn't, especially at the contests where accuracy was on the honor system. Not everything needs to be a self-defense pistol, and the two 22 pistols we looked at today are perfect examples of that. Both are fun pistols that are easy to shoot, easy to maintain, and they shoot ammo that's easy to find and easy on the wallet. I find the 22X to be the perfect choice for those zombie shooting days, while the Mark IV is better suited for those maximum accuracy contest type days. But that's just me. What is your opinion on these two pistols? Let us know in the comments. And that seems like the perfect spot to end today's video. If you enjoyed today's presentation, like it, share it with your friends and family, maybe drop a comment on there. Those things are free, and they really help the channel greatly. If you'd like to help us make more of these videos in the future, look into becoming a member. Fred and I really appreciate you getting this far. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a nice day.
Now I'm gonna need all of you in the Bacon Nation to have a seat right over there.
Get it? Yeah.
10 yards.
I'm thankful for you. I appreciate everything you do. So stay safe, stay healthy. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you on the TV. And, take care of Fred and Corey when you can. You know what it is.